Welcome back to another episode of Paperback Ponderings. Today we have our most anticipated episode of summer.
We do love this one.
Yeah, we love a radar. Today we're going to talk about all the books coming out. Well, not all the books because we'd be here a while, but all of the most interesting books to us that are coming out over the summer. As always, spoiler free, trying our best to not give away the details of any spoilers that might come if you haven't read the first few books in a series, etc., etc. So Kyla's going to take us away with our first book, releasing early July. Go ahead, Kyla.
So first up on our summer list is The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley, coming out July 7th. This one is the sequel to The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, which has a 3.78 out of 62,000 ratings on Goodreads, and it was also a nominee for Reader's Favorite Romantasy last year in 2025. So this story is set in an alternate fantasy version of the UK, which is divided up into a bunch of different orders, and the book follows Osric, who is a member of the Order of Assassins, who is slowly dying. And as he seeks help, he finds that the only person skilled enough to help him is Orienne. And Orienne is a member of the Order of Healers, and so naturally the healers and the assassins do not get along. They have very different moral outlooks on life. However, Orienne happens to be desperate for funding because there's an epidemic that her order is trying to treat and they don't have enough funding for it. So when Osric bribes her to help him in exchange for his vast fortunes, she is forced to accept even though she detests him. But neither of them wants to be seen together, so they end up meeting in secret in numerous different locations around the kingdom for these sessions, these healing sessions that they're having, which leads to them getting into a bunch of little scenarios and entanglements that all just make for a really fun story overall. So this one's romantasy, but it's quite comedic. It's like a very funny story. It's pretty lighthearted. Bridget Knightley has a great sense of humor. She has a very unique voice, I would say, as an author. So I think it's a good one for summer because you have that fantasy element, but it's also lighthearted and not taking itself too seriously with heavy info dumps of world building and stuff.
Yeah, we do love a specific book in the summer. It's not always easy getting into fantasy in the summer, so it's kind of fun that vibe is still there. There's still the like atmosphere required for a summer read.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first one, so I do plan on reading this one as well. This author is also a really big master of the slow burn, so it's an incredibly kind of drawn out slow burn, but in a good way. I mean that like she's not cutting any corners. You're gonna feel the tension, you're gonna feel the yearning, and so we were only kind of just getting that going in the first book, so I'm definitely gonna read the second one. Excited to see how that plays out, and I do recommend it if you're looking for a fun summer fantasy.
This was a Dramini. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
Yes. It's all coming back to me now.
Did you notice I was like purposely not mentioning it?
I mean, it has a life of its own now, doesn't it? It kind of like, it's extended beyond the Dramini sphere that it may have been conceived in, if you will.
Yes, absolutely. Like the fanfic that it was based on is one of my top 3. It's like one of my all-time favorites. It was so good. This adaptation feels quite different. Like you can see like the bones are there, but it's a very different story still. So
yeah,
I still do prefer the fanfic, but this one is just like a fun time. So like you don't have to be interested in fanfics at all. You can just take this at face value for what it is.
Yes, I do agree with you there because I feel like I really liked Rose in Chains, which was a Dramini fanfic, but
right.
It doesn't feel like Dramini fanfic.
Yeah, they do a good job at making them feel fresh and new.
Yeah, like a unique individual story.
Yeah. What's next?
Okay, so next, also coming out on July 7th, actually, is book number 2, in the Siren's Mage series. So the first book was In the Veins of the Drowning by Callie Cassidy. The second book, the one coming out on July 7th, is In the Wake of the Ruin. I believe this is the conclusion of this story. It's supposed to be a duology. For anyone who hasn't heard of In the Veins of the Drowning, it came out in 2025 and it is sitting at a 3.92 out of 38,000 ratings, so not bad. And In the Veins of the Drowning is a siren-based story that follows our female main character, Imogen Nell, who is a siren living in hiding in the kingdom of Seraph, where sirens are very feared and they're seen as violent, blood-hungry creatures who are not well regarded and ultimately persecuted. So she's keeping it on the DL. Now, that fragile, very fragile, concealment collapses when Theodore, the king of the neighboring kingdom Varia, arrives and recognizes what Imogen is. Theo believes Imogen may be the key to stopping a far greater threat, though. This threat is a deity, a siren-killing water deity called Usia, who basically haunts the waters of both kingdoms. So Usia is a problem to both Seraph and Varia. Now, in order to escape Seraph and bind their purposes together, Imogen and Theo form what is known as a siren blood bond, which is a dangerous magical pact that protects them, but also forces them into alignment that they might not have otherwise chosen, in the form of intimacy, trust, and obligation. So from there, once they escape Seraph, the novel becomes a flight narrative and a quest. So they're running from the people who would choose to harm Imogen and also trying to fix the issue that is Usia. So as they flee across the hostile waters, they have to navigate the undead creatures, political enemies, divine violence, and their own mistrust in each other. So while their alliance begins as a strategic utilitarian agreement, of course, emotions happen and the romantic stakes kind of sharpen for each of them. This book is categorized as a dark romantasy, so super atmospheric, central romantic arc, gothic adjacent imagery. Lots of folks are comparing it to One Dark Window and For the Wolf. I don't know if that hits. I know someone in the room DNF'd this, so perhaps we could get a little insider scoop from Miss Kyla on whether that comparison is accurate.
Unfortunately, no, it's not accurate. For me anyways, that is what drew me to the book. I was like, One Dark Window type atmosphere, but make it sirens who are being hunted kind of thing. Like, that sounds like a great atmosphere for a book. So I went into it wanting that kind of lyrical prose and that haunting atmosphere. I was not getting that at all. I DNF'd it at 30%. I don't think it was a horrible book. Like, maybe it would have been fine, but it wasn't captivating me. The main character seemed to be kind of all over the place. She was inconsistent in the types of decisions she was making and what she was saying and just like her personality. The king, who was like not Theo, but the king who she was the ward of at the beginning, was very much a mwahaha villain, and that was in the beginning of the book. Like, it wasn't even, you know, the grand mwahaha reveal at the end. But to the point that it felt not realistic. It just felt kind of cartoony and silly. Yeah, it wasn't working for me. So I was pretty sad about that because I thought for sure this was going to be a fantastic book, but
that's too bad.
Yeah.
It's no fun. That kind of sucks. It sounds like it has some good bones, though. Like, maybe give it a whirl if you like a siren-based story with some water gods. I don't know.
Yeah, give it a try. Don't just take my word. Like, a lot of people love this book. I do seem to be in the minority with DNFing it, so give it a go. It might be a good one for summer as well because it's so water-based. Who knows?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Anywho, that is In the Wake of the Ruined, coming out July 7th if you're interested.
Nice. Next up is July 21st, we have A Forsaken Prophecy by Stacey McEwen. This one is a highly anticipated one for Sarah and I. It is the sequel to A Forbidden Alchemy, which came out last summer. And A Forbidden Alchemy has a 4.24 out of 30,000 ratings on Goodreads. And it's set in a world where people become either artisans with elemental magic or crafters who don't have any magic. And when you're 12 years old, you travel to the capital city to be tested to see which one you are. And this is how our main characters, Nina and Patrick, meet. So they both come from small brink mining towns. And while Nina dreams of becoming an artisan and the new life that would bring her, Patrick just wants to go back home to his family of crafters and join his father and brothers in the mines. But when they're there being tested, Patrick and Nina stumble across a massive secret that artisans are not born, they're actually chosen by the people in power. So it's kind of all a fabrication. So they find this out, and then they have to go their separate ways back to their regular lives, just kind of holding on to this knowledge, not knowing what to do with it. Until years later, so there is a time jump in the story, when a craftsman revolution has begun, and Nina and Patrick find themselves on opposite sides of this craftsman versus artisan war, up until Patrick's rebel group captures Nina, and she's forced to make some difficult decisions because she is faced with the truth of the situation, but also she has come to love the artisans and the people that she spent all these years with. So she finds herself in the middle of the war here.
Yeah, I'm super amped for this book. I already bought it. You know I'm interested in a book when I'm suckered into the pre-sale.
Yeah, because you're not a big
never
pre-order,
do that.
right? Yeah, okay.
I never pre-order, like ever. Like I don't even know the last time I pre-ordered a book. I don't know if I ever have pre-ordered a book.
So this is high praise.
This is huge. Mostly because I'm scarred from the Rights of the Starling just like totally selling out. The first print totally selling out. And I was like, oh shit, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's no way I'm not getting A Forsaken Prophecy. It's just not happening. So
yeah,
we pre-ordered. We're stoked. I can't wait to find out what's going on with Patrick and Nina.
Yeah, very excited. The first one was so good. I do have an arc of the second one sitting on my Kindle, and I've been kind of waiting for the right moment. I think within the next couple weeks for sure, because we're like a month out from publication. I'm going to dive in. I'm scared. I am excited. This one, yeah, high praise from us. If you haven't read A Forbidden Alchemy, do it. You won't regret it.
It was just like so unexpectedly awesome. If you're a fan of Peaky Blinders, Patrick is giving big Thomas Shelby energy. Like very much big Thomas Shelby energy. I really like the magic system and the world that the story is building, like this, oppressed world where crafters are kind of mistreated by the government and society, and artisans are revered in a really like imbalanced way. Just a huge fan in general, so I'm very excited for this book and I cannot wait. Okay, next on our list is not one that I've read, but it's one that I've seen, so I'm kind of interested in it. It is Prince of Swords. It's also coming out July 21st. July 21st is going to be a big day, and that is by Elise Kova. Book number 1 is actually Arcana Academy. It's very kind of very unique cover. Like you would notice it. You probably have seen this book. Go look it up if you haven't. But Arcana Academy is sitting at a 3.96 out of 36,000 ratings, and it's in certainly good standing, so I am intrigued by it. I don't know how high on the priority list it is, but it looks cool. For anyone who hasn't heard of the Arcana Academy series, it's a fantasy romance dark academia story built around forbidden tarot magic, political intrigue, fake engagement, and an enemies to lovers dynamic. So TLDR is this story follows Clara Greysword, who has made a life for herself in the shadows of Eclipse City, surviving on theft, luck, and a dangerous kind of illegal magic. Her rare gift, inking tarot cards, is supposed to be reserved for trained practitioners at the elite Arcana Academy. But when a job goes wrong, Clara is caught and sentenced to life in prison. However, prison she does not see, as the prince, Mr. Prince Kyla, steps in and intervenes. Now, as headmaster of Arcana Academy, Kyla has the power to save her, pull her back from prison, but this motive is not selfless. It is certainly not, what is that word? Altruistic. That's it. It's certainly not altruistic. Kyla actually needs Claire's magic to help him steal a tarot card from the king and recreate a legendary card lost to time. One of the most powerful cards. What it does, not sure, but it's pretty intense. Okay? It's really intense. So, to keep her hidden and close, Kyla brings Clara to Arcana Academy under a false identity as a new first-year student and his bride-to-be. I'm actually kind of intrigued by this. It kind of reminds me of... I'm totally blanking. You know the one with Lore and the horse.
Oh, the Foxglove King? Lore? Wait, the horse.
Yeah, the horse dies and she brings it back to life, and that like gives up her ruse.
Right, yes.
I think this reminds me of that. What do you think?
I'm not seeing the links personally, but I don't that's not what it was reminding me of. I guess like the whole element of her being caught doing something and then brought into the society that she was not a part of before, and that whole...
Yeah, like she was gonna go to jail, but then like the powerful people are like, we can use her.
Yeah.
And then she's now like a fake important person in the politics and the happenings, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
Just that piece.
Yeah, but with a new take on magic. I think inking tarot cards is a very cool kind of magic, so that definitely intrigues me. I've never been a huge fan of the kind of professor-student romance vibes.
Yes, I agree.
So, and it sounds like that's kind of the situation here. I'm intrigued. I don't see why they had to like also be married when he brought her into the academy or like engaged, but yes, I'm sure it's explained in the story.
Yeah, I imagine it would be. Like, we love a forced proximity for sure, but if she was going to be his wife, why does she need to also go to school?
Yeah. Questions.
But
it does sound cool. I think the before part of it, like when she was illegally inking tarot cards in the shadows of Eclipse City, like that concept sounds cooler to me than like now she's at the academy and engaged to the headmaster.
Yeah, the like headmaster student romance always brings me back to that series that I read as a teenager, the Night PC cast.
Oh yeah. Marked the like...
Yes, but like way far into the series, and like how bad that was. I was like, that's so naughty.
Yeah, that's funny, that series. I know I read like many of those books and I have very limited memories of what went down in that series, but I know I loved it at the time.
Yeah, I loved it at the time too, except for the like professor who basically like uses her and ditches her and whatever, and she was like super in love with him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that, but
someone probably remembers that.
Someone probably does.
Someone tell me what I'm thinking of, because this is kind of giving that.
Yeah, how many people in the listeners here have read the PC Cast series? I feel like a lot. This was like a common experience for all of us.
If you can name the exact book, I will be impressed, because I feel like they all kind of look the same.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot goes down in these books. Like, the plot just flies. It flies off the handle.
It really does.
And then we have to work to remember what happened. But I remember this part very clearly. The, like, power imbalance of the professor. And, like, yeah, I don't know. Would love to know a little bit more context, maybe, about Kalis and Clara. But for anyone who is interested, and I do think this would be an interesting read, it's Arcana Academy is the first one. Second one, Prince of Swords, coming out July 21st.
Nice. The next one is Spellcast by Sophie Jordan, coming out July 28th. And this one is a spin-off book in the world of A Fire in the Sky and A Scar in the Bone. This one follows Arden, a girl who's been invisible and trapped in her village by a spell she can't break. She can't touch, speak, or be seen, so she's basically living like a ghost among all of the people that she used to know, dreaming of vengeance against the witch who cursed her. Until one fateful day when her village is devoured in flames, and from the wreckage rises a pride of dragon shifters. So they're in dragon form, but they can shift into a human form as well. And they can actually see her despite her curse. So she is swept away into the crags, which are the mountain range where dragons live, by their alpha Tage, and although she spends all of her time plotting escape, she can't deny her attraction to Tage's fiery intensity. So this one is a spicy captor-captive romance, if you're into that. I couldn't get any info on whether you actually need to read the other books in this world, A Fire in the Sky, that duology. For this, like I didn't get the sense that there's any direct crossover, but I would still say read them. Like, they're fun. If you're into this story, you're probably going to like that one too. It's a fun duology. It's also spicy. It's
an easy read as well. It's great.
Yeah, very bingeable.
Oh yeah, that was the one. Yes.
Did you finish that duology?
I didn't read the second one.
Okay.
But I remember really enjoying the first one.
Yeah, do you plan on finishing it / do you plan on reading this one?
I definitely plan on finishing the original story. I'm not sure about Spellcast though. I don't know. It's not calling to me the way that some other books have.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think for Spellcast, I would read it if I was kind of in a mood that was making me remember the original duology. If I want like kind of a spicy dragon shifter story, then I'll revisit this, but I'm not jumping at the bit to get it.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. Okay, so next on our list is actually an interesting one. Kyla and I have somewhat followed this series. So it's coming out on August 4th. It's called The Lion and the Deathless Dark by Carissa Broadbent. Carissa Broadbent is very known for the Crowns of Nyaxia series, and this is the 5th novel in the Crowns of Nyaxia world, and it is the first in the Bloodborne duet. So for anyone who has not heard of this series, this is a series of 6 books set in the same world with 3 interconnecting duologies. The first one was the Nightborn duet, which follows Uriah and Rain. The second one was the Shadowborn duet, who the main characters are escaping my brain now.
Misha and Asar.
Yes, good job. Misha and Asar. And then this final one is the Bloodborne duet that follows our main characters, Kyrene and Septimus. So this story, this particular duology in the interconnecting world, is set in Eternal Night and takes place in a world that's been devastated by a decades-long war between the humans and the vampires. So at the center of the story is our female main character, Kyrene, who is a bounty hunter surviving in the wreckage of that war, and she carries with her a blessed sword from the goddess of justice. But after a terrible loss, Kyrene commits a crime that makes her a target, not just for mortals, but for the gods themselves. So Kyrene gets up to some shiz. She's got the attention of the gods, and we know from this world that's not a good thing.
You don't want that.
You don't want the attention of the gods. However, still driven by vengeance, Kyrene's only real path forward is a dangerous bargain with one of her enemies, Septimus, our male main character, a silver-tongued vampire prince. And Septimus offers her a chance at survival and revenge, but the cost is enormous. Together, they set out to hunt the most impossible targets imaginable, the gods. So Septimus has a plan of cooking, and he's looped Kyrene into it. In this story, they have to navigate prophecies, curses, blood-soaked politics, and divine threats. And of course, it wouldn't be a romantasy if their alliance does not come complicated and steamy. So Septimus as a calculating, secretive, and clearly motivated individual. Kyrene also her own issues and baggage and motivations that create a really volatile partnership that I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. Probably well, according to, if we know Carissa. It'll be great and terrible all at the same time.
Yes, sounds about right.
Yeah. This series really lost me after the last duet.
Yeah, which we only read the first book of the second duet, right?
Yeah, that book.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, Jesus, it set me off. I was like, I don't want to come back to this world.
No, I know. And it's such a shame because like I loved the first duology. I had such a good time reading it.
Yeah, I was obsessed with this world.
Yeah. And then the second duology, I should have DNF'd that book. Like if we weren't doing it for the podcast, that should have been a DNF because I didn't enjoy it at all.
No. All I remember is they kept encountering the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the conflict was like unending and it was the same conflict. There was no actual like intrigue or interest. What was the book called? The Songbird and the Heart of Stone.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that was such a shame. And I remember after that one, I was like, I don't think I want to finish this duology, but like I'm still intrigued to come back for the final duology, especially because like Septimus, the main character in this new duology, we met him in the first couple of books. So I was intrigued about his story, about his vampire court, because I think they're, what are they, the Bloodborne or the...
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Which are kind of like the more vicious ones.
Yes, they're perceived to be, I think, the like just awful.
Yeah. So I was like, you know, I'm still kind of intrigued about that. But at this point now, I'm like, I really don't know if I care enough to go back, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is kind of a shame. It is kind of a shame. And you can see the drop off kind of in ratings. Like the first one, Serpent and the Wings of Night on Goodreads, rated at 4.26, 800,000 ratings. And then we jump to book 3, which is the first and the second duology, 4.3 out of 134,000 ratings. So like...
That's a huge drop off from 800,000 to 100,000.
Yeah. And even from 130,000 to 59,000 in the second book of the second installment. So I don't think we're the only ones who experienced this. It is a shame because I really like Carissa Broadbent and like we were saying, like obsessed with The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Really loved that book. So it's a dang shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's possible that this new duology will be better because it's not following that Descent into Hell plotline that was happening in the second duology. But at the same time, yeah, if you're interested, give it a go. But I don't know if we will.
Yeah, I think like, look, it's intriguing enough. And if there was the option, like if I was the kind of person who could drop into a random duology, like deep into a series or a world without having felt like I needed to finish the previous stories, then I might just hop into The Lion and the Deathless Dark because I am curious. About Septimus's story. But I'm not that kind of person. I feel like I need to read it all. If there's a world, I want to be in it 100% or not at all.
It feels wrong to skip a book, especially like I know it's different characters, the fourth book, but you know that it's all kind of an overarching world conflict. So it's going to be linked. You're going to be not knowing certain things. And
yeah, there will be Easter eggs that you've missed and what have you. I'm sure you could do it if you don't care about that. But I do.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued. I don't know. Yeah. Nah. It's not the top of the list.
Wait for reviews. See what the people are saying. Yeah.
If anyone has arcs, let us know. Should we come back to the Crowns of Nyaxia series and give book number 4 a shot?
Maybe it's like an audiobook situation where we don't want to give our full energy to a physical read, but like the audiobooks will let us still get the full story.
C'est possible. It's definitely, Speaking of a series that will never end, what is what is your next book, Kyla?
Accurate. Yeah. The next book is Adversary to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, also coming out August 4th. And like Sarah said, this series should have ended several books ago. It just keeps getting extended, I guess. I have read all 3 up to this point. We had a lull with book 2. Book 3 was good again. The first one was definitely still the best, but yeah, the title of this one intrigues me though. But before we get ahead of ourselves, so Adversary to the Villain, it's the 4th book in the Assistant to the Villain series, which has the first book has a 3.93 out of 378,000 ratings, and it was a nominee for Reader's Favorite Romantasy in 2023, but also 2024 and 2025. Like, each book in the series was nominated for Reader's Favorite Romantasy, so it's clearly a well-liked series. If you have not heard of it yet, very briefly, it follows Evie Sage, who needs money to support her ailing family, so she accepts a job as the assistant to the kingdom's most infamous villain, where she soon discovers that someone is trying to sabotage his operations, and so she takes it upon herself to get to the bottom of the mystery of who is betraying the villain, all while developing a crush on her evil and grumpy villainous boss. This one, it's a fun book. It's a fairy tale type fantasy story, very funny. It's described as Once Upon a Time meets The Office. It's like a workplace comedy, a workplace rom-com, but make it fantasy. We both really liked the first book. The audiobook is a great experience, but yeah, it doesn't need to go on as long as it does.
Listen, they're just trying to make money at this point.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, we've expanded beyond the initial intention or purpose of this book. The reason it was so good was because it was so not serious, but they're trying to take like a serious plot line and overlay it onto an unserious like setting or environment.
Yeah.
And it's not working. Like, in my opinion, let the first few cook. All right, let the first ones cook. We don't need to keep this party rolling. All right, we could have probably wrapped it up after the first one. Fine, we'll give you a second. All right, a third. We're done now.
And then we have a 4th.
No, this is bad.
Yeah. It lost the plot in book 2. It was like, what is even happening right now?
Yeah.
Book 3, I feel like I was liking it again. Like, I was having fun again, but still, like, the plot feels so just out there. It's just like a bunch of made up crap and I know, like, I get it. We're talking about fantasy books. It's all made up crap, but like, this just feels so like intangible. Like, I don't even know what they're doing half the time. I'm just like listening for the vibes, and that is why I've continued, because like the audiobooks are just like,
and they are funny.
Yeah.
They're like very funny, really great like comedic tone in the stories, but that's why people are there. And then you add in all these little secret like potions or mysteries, and it's like, I don't know what's going on anymore. And I don't care either. Yeah. I might still end up listening to the next audiobook. Yes. Because I've made it this far and they're just like easy listens. And I'm also, the title Adversary to the Villain. Okay, what happened? Why are they adversaries? What happened? What's going on? Yeah, I do agree. I'll probably read it. But at the same time, I'm not spending money on this anymore.
Oh, no. Like, this is a Libby audiobook. This is a Borrow audiobook.
Yeah, 100%. This is chuck it in the queue and wait for it to roll back around, because I know what they're doing, all right? And I won't buy into it. They're not getting my money.
Yeah, exactly.
It is just like, let's keep stretching this so we can continue to cash in on a really great series. But if the plot doesn't need the series to continue, it's a disservice to carry on the torch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it would be better for her. Like, she clearly is funny, the author, and she has good ideas. Like, I would love to see something in this genre again from her that's just like a fresh story, that like, instead of dragging one out for too long, like, let's just have a couple of new ones.
I totally agree. And she could do it. Like you said, she's got great writing style, good tone. Hilarious.
Yeah.
I'd read something else by her. So
yeah, but that was Adversary to the Villain, coming August 4th.
Also August 4th, holy moly, that's like 4 books.
Big day.
It's a big day, though. It's a big day. But coming August 4th is the 3rd book in the Immortal Longings series by Chloe Gong. The 3rd book is called Eyes of Kings, and this was Chloe Gong's first like debut fantasy. So super exciting to see the series continue. I'm also very intrigued by the series. It's deadly tournament vibes, lots of politics. For anyone who has not heard of Immortal Longings, this story takes place in the capital twin cities of Tallinn called San-Er, where every year thousands of folks gather for a deadly competition where the competitors compete by jumping between bodies in a fight across the city, killing each other for the chance to win the tournament and unimaginable wealth. So the magic system is built around the ability to transfer consciousness into another body, which makes the games especially chaotic and hard to survive. Very interesting premise. I know that this is not a new way of doing things, but it feels like the mashup between deadly competition and body jumping is unique.
Yeah, I haven't read very many body jumping books, and it seems like if it's spread throughout the city and they're just jumping into random civilians' bodies, like that's kind of a cool concept, like what the repercussions of that would be. And
exactly. Yeah, I think so too. Now, the intrigue comes in because our female main character is actually the hiding Princess Kyla, who has been hiding for 5 years after the massacre that killed her parents and emptied the Palace of Air. This isn't a spoiler, but it feels like a spoiler. The twist is that Kyla is the one who actually committed the massacre. We don't know why. We don't have a motivation. But she wants to continue the work that she had started with that massacre 5 years ago by entering the trial so that she can get close to her uncle, King Kasa, who only comes out to greet the winners of this trial, and she wants to end the monarchy. So her whole goal is to enter the games so she can draw out her reclusive uncle to ultimately kill him and finish the plot that she had started 5 years ago in the massacre of her own family.
it's intriguing.
Tell me. Intriguing. She has to have a good reason. I'm curious what it is.
Yeah.
Now, on her mission, her path collides with famed body jumper Anton Macusa, who is an exiled aristocrat and one of literally the best body jumpers in the game. And he enters the game because he's drowning in debt. Classic.
Yeah.
While he's trying to keep his childhood love alive in a coma. I don't know if he put her in the coma or like why she's in the coma, but he's ultimately trying to gather funds so he can keep her alive. And in the games, Kyla and Anton form a volatile alliance. I'm intrigued by this, actually, the whole series. I don't know. If I have time, I would be interested in getting to know the work of Chloe Gong because it sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds almost, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm picturing slightly more of an urban setting for this.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, I have been intrigued by this. Back when Immortal Longings was the only one out, I remember being in the bookstore and looking at it and like, do I do it? Do I do it? And I didn't. But yeah, it's been kind of in the back of my mind for a while. Will I get to it? I don't know. Probably not right now because I'm very tired of trials right now.
Yes. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I do
that's
think
the one
fun.
thing. Like, you got to be down for the trial. It's also giving a little bit of sci-fi, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I am intrigued. Again, this is the third book in the series, which means if you haven't started the series, you could read 2 extra books before this one comes out.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yes, it's called The Eye of Kings, and it comes out August 4th.
Next up is Steelborn by Taylor J. LaRue, coming also August 4th.
Wow.
And this one is a romantasy debut, which is really fun. So it follows Rhea, the most notorious thief in the kingdom, who is also known as the Crimson Dagger, who became the most notorious thief by following a few simple rules. There is no honor among thieves, a good blade is key to any negotiation, and only the dead keep secrets. And she has a secret that must be kept at all costs. But when a heist goes wrong on the eve of paying off her debt to a ruthless crime lord, Rhea may need a new set of rules and a lot of coin fast. Enter Kaylin, an immortal warrior whose magic makes him a valuable target if the curse inching closer to his heart doesn't kill him first. There is only one person who might be desperate enough to try and get their hands on the fabled cure that might save his life. And that happens to be our Crimson Dagger, Rhea. But as a male of honor, Kaelin loathes everything that Rhea represents as a thief. But he knows that she is his last hope for survival. So he enlists her help, and their search takes them to the edge of the known world, where she discovers that there is more at stake than their lives.
Intrigued.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
It's, yeah, like I said, it's a debut, which we love a debut. I like the title, Steelborn. I like the kind of steel color vibe that's going on the cover. I can't say the story feels super overly fresh in terms of content. Like most Notorious Thief, we've seen it before. They need a cure, we've seen it before. They partner up and go on a quest, we've seen it before. But
yeah,
it could be good.
Yeah, I like that. Like kind of formula is never gonna be like not attractive. It's just like a matter of what you're vibing with. And I don't know if I'm vibing too hard in the romantasy sphere.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. We've said it before in the past couple of podcast episodes, but we are both in a bit of a romantasy slump right now. We're kind of taking a bit of a romantasy break to just palate cleanse. So our interest tastes are a little bit skewed right now, possibly. And if you are in the height of your romantasy moment, if you're just discovering it, or if you're just loving all things romantasy, then you might think this one sounds fantastic, and let us know if it is.
Yeah, I mean, dubbed as in great alignment with like fans of Danielle L. Jensen, Callie Hart, it's not going to be bad. It's just not going to be unique.
Yes, that's the only thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So if you're looking for like, you know, an incredible amount of something fresh, something funky, I don't know if this is it, but maybe.
But who knows? It is a debut. We have a fresh writing style.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the intriguing part of this book, is the debut element to it, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was Steelborn by Taylor J. LaRue, coming August 4th.
Perfect. Okay, so the last book in our list of anticipated summer reads is coming out August 18th. It is called Immortal Rose by Alexandra Bracken. It is supposed to be the first book in a duology that's set in a lush fantasy world where perfume is not just a luxury, it is magic, power, and political leverage. Interest, okay? In this story, we follow Viola Lockwood, who is the last living member of the ancient house Roseborn. Her family carries a very rare gift inherited from a fairy ancestor, which is the ability to infuse fragrance with magic that can influence the mind, body, and the emotions. So when a shocking murder leaves the kingdom of Albion exposed to a possible coup, the royal spy master Hugh Thornton turns to Viola as the one person who might be able to stop the kingdom from falling apart. The problem is that Viola has every reason to hate him. Hugh had thrown her in jail to force her cooperation. So whether it was engineered or orchestrated, Viola is at the mercy of Mr. Hugh Thornton here. Still, begrudgingly, she agrees to work with him in exchange for crafting Immortal Rose, a singular perfume believed capable of saving Albion. She may finally claim the life, legitimacy, and fortune that should have been hers all along. However, making this highly sought-after perfume requires a lost fairy ingredient hidden deep in Albion's dangerous underworld. So Hugh and Viola must band together, again, a forced bloody proximity, to search for the missing ingredient that will ultimately enable Viola to attempt to make this highly sought after perfume. And as the forces that be start to gather, Viola's life becomes more and more in danger.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about this one. There's something about like magic-based perfume that does not call to me. Maybe because I'm not a perfume wearer. I don't understand the beauty of a perfume, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I'm not a perfume person either. But I feel like at least it feels like a unique magic system, like magical fragrances. It is kind of a fresh concept. So I find that
Pun totally intended.
yeah, I do find that kind of intriguing. And the ingredient, like hunting for like a mystical kind of ingredient,
Yeah.
could be a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forced proximity, it's a formula and it works.
It does tend to work, yes.
Yeah, I probably won't actually read this though.
No.
I don't think so. But this author has some notable titles, like some titles that I have not read, but I have seen around quite a bit.
Yeah, she's got a lot in her experience. Like we've got the Dark Minds series, Passenger, Wayfarer,
Yes.
Silver in the Bone.
Passenger always intrigued me. Lore, I've heard about that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I've seen this author around. She has a proven track record. So
Intrigued. Ultimately intrigued for sure.
tell us what you think if you read it.
Yeah, I would like to know a little bit more before I commit. Maybe see what the people are saying before I journey down this road.
Yeah.
It's not calling to me as much as maybe other books might, but it's still intriguing for sure. Definitely unique. Love that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that it's not intriguing. It's just that it's not as intriguing as
Other things.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But if you are interested, like this is the kickoff to a new series, which is kind of fun. Again, that is Immortal Rose by Alexandra Bracken, and it's coming August 18th.
Nice. And that is everything we have for our summer release radar for all the fantasy and romantasy books coming out this summer, or not all of them, but the highlights. Actually,
Comprehensive.
you know what? I struggled to find titles for this one. Like summer is not a big season for publishing books. It's spring and fall is really where the big titles are at. So this is like it's not comprehensive, but it's more comprehensive than our radars usually are because of that. So
it may have been.
yeah. But if we missed anything, if there's any books out there that you are excited for this summer that we don't have on our list, let us know because we want to know about them. And we will see you next week.